Alright, hey everybody, today we're going to do a quick tutorial on how to use a mouse and keyboard with Skyrim Special Edition on the Steam Deck. So the Steam Deck version of Skyrim is a bit different than the PC version in that when you download Skyrim on a Steam Deck, it detects that you're downloading it on a Steam Deck and it prioritizes Steam Deck controls. It is Steam Deck verified and it's a little different than a couple other games that I've played that are Steam Deck verified. For example, Oblivion Remastered. If you hook up a mouse and keyboard to Oblivion Remastered on the Steam Deck, it detects the mouse and keyboard automatically. Skyrim is not the same as that. It always prioritizes the Steam Deck controller or any controller that you plug in over keyboard controls. So the way to fix this is you want to go to your settings on the Steam page. So we're here. Go to properties. Find launch options. Typically, you don't really mess with this, but we want to put in a specific code. So you see the code on the screen. Steam Deck equals 0. %, command %. So what this is doing is it's telling the Steam when it launches the game, you don't want to prioritize the controller, the Steam Deck controller. So when we launch Skyrim, it will consider this a PC version of the game and automatically switch over to keyboard controls. Now there is one caveat to this, and that it is there's one more setting that you need to do in the game itself. So we will launch the game and look at that setting. So you see the screen right here. This is Mod Organizer 2. This is not have anything to do with mods. So don't worry about mods. You can do this with vanilla. This is just a method through Steam and Skyrim gameplay options. So don't worry about mods. There's no mods that you need to download for this to work. So I'm going to launch Skyrim and we'll go to that screen and I'll show you what to do next. Hey everybody, so Skyrim is loaded and this is my modded menu screen and such. You want to load a game, just load any game that you have. And as you can see, my controls are already in keyboard. Now, when you launch for the first time after you put that code in, you might not have that. So if you don't have your keyboard controls already there, you want to go into your settings. And you want to go to System. Go down to Settings again, go to Gameplay. Click this will be on. Mine's turned off because it's already set up the way it needs to be. But this symbol is on for my modded version, but you'll see it in whatever interface it looks like. Just turn it off. So once you turn the controller off, you will have your controls for the keyboard, mouse and keyboard. One thing that I keep in mind is don't turn this off without putting in that code first. The code from earlier before we launched. Because if you turn the controller off, you might not have a way to turn it back on, which is what happened to me when I tried to do this the first time. I turned the controller off without putting in that Steam Deck code in the properties menu, and I ended up not having a way to control the game at all. So that was a little scary. It seemed to me like I thought I was going to have to uninstall the whole game, but I found that code and I put the code in and I was able to fix it. So don't turn off the controller without making sure that that code's in there. And another thing, I would recommend not doing this in desktop mode because if something happens where your mouse and keyboard aren't detected automatically, you'll have that situation I just mentioned where you don't have any way to control the game whatsoever. Even looking at this menu, you won't be able to do anything. That's what happened to me. And in desktop mode, I had no way of getting out of this game. It might be my keyboard, it might be something else going on, but if you do it in gaming mode and something happens where you can't control the game, you just click the Steam button and you can go home and shut the game off that way. In desktop mode, I couldn't do that for whatever reason. I had to shut the, the system off. I had to do a forced shutdown, which if you need to do that for some reason, press and hold the power button for 10 seconds. That'll do a forced shutdown and a reboot in gaming mode. So those are just some tips, some things to keep in mind. You may see some forum posts out there that say if you want to use the keyboard to do editing in the .ini file, that's really complicated. You don't need to do that. You just need to go back to your SteamDeck properties and type the code in. See, I'll show you the code. What I keep, whoops, not paying attention. I'll show you the code one more time. Come to this little cog right here, properties, launch options. So you're modifying the way the game launches so it overrides the default controller that it's assigning to the Steam Deck version of this game. So when you type in this code, it sees it as the PC version of this game, not the Steam Deck version of the game. So make sure that you type that code in first. And if you want to put the control setting back on, if you click that on within the game, it will revert back to controller controls, even with this code in. So if something happens and you're like, I don't want to use the keyboard anymore, you go back, you click toggle control on, and it'll override again. So that's a very simple method. You don't need to download any mods. You don't need to edit the .ini, and you don't need to uninstall the game. Just come in here, use this command, do it in gaming mode so you have a way to shut the software down if something happens that your controller and mouse don't register right away. And there you go. Simple, easy, and not complicated at all. I don't know why there isn't a toggle in the game for this version of Skyrim. That's really strange to me, but this is a simple fix, and I hope it helped. Thanks for watching, and see ya.